Okay, for this second assignment for I think it's week 7 or week 6, second it's a week before spring break. I want you to go ahead and open up your subdivision drawing and from a previous assignment. And there's some additional assignments in the book that we'll look at. And I was given some lessons on this, so I've got some additional junk up here that I need to get rid of. The White Oak subdivision. So what we're going to do is work on this lot 16. We've got a house going in here. If you have your textbook, which you should, I want you to go to page 544, and all we're going to do is just the house outline. So let's go to our layer properties. There we go. A little slow. Right click. We're going to say new layer, and we're going to call this one house outline. I'll give it a nice yellow color. We'll go a little thicker so you can see it better. And I'm not going to put it on the lot just yet. I'm going to come over here and we're going to start drawing this using our polyline tool. So if we start on the left hand side bottom corner on the 45-foot wall, let's just see if we can draw this out. Polyline, we're going to go 45 feet. And I can zoom in with my wheel. And then it goes to the right 25 feet. Goes down 9 feet. Over to the right 18 feet. Back up 5 feet. Then it goes over 42 feet. Yep, there we go. We're going down a total of 62 feet. Now to the left 32 feet. We're going up 15 feet. And to the left 35 feet. And we're going up 6 feet. This last tie-in should be at 18 feet. This is basically then the shape of our house. Of course, I drew it in the wrong layer, so let me just fix that. House outline, there we go. And, oops, hopefully I fixed it. Yep, okay. So let's create another layer. We're going to hatch this. In the book, it goes through the whole floor plan layout, but that's for architects. You guys are civil engineers, so we're going to go just through the floor plan layout. So we can put this on a site plan. We'll go to our layer properties and create another layer. Now, this one's going to be called House Outline Hatch. And we'll give that funky orange color. I just want it to be a thin line. Make it active. And we'll hatch that out using our hatch tool. We're just going to use a straight diagonal hatch. Computer's being awfully slow on me tonight. There we go. So we'll just use this ANSI 131. Not sure what to put in there for scale. I'm going to start out with a 10 scale. And I'm just going to put my mouse. That's obviously not put my mouse on it. Let's try a 100 scale. That's pretty good. Let's try a 150. Much. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's just leave it at 150. So now we have this house lot at a 150 scale all hatched. And we can see that that's going to fit on this lot here eventually. So hit your escape key so you don't hatch everything. And now we're going to move over to our lot, and we're going to move ahead in the textbook to chapter 18, starting on putting components on a site plan. And we've opened up this drawing. I'm going to set our layers. Make sure we get this all right. I want to start in the right spot. So it says, first thing we should do is just type in units. We're going to set our units now. And it wants us to set them to engineering. And our drawing units, it's saying we should put this to 4 decimal places. That's pretty good. And just say, okay. We'll follow their directions for a while. And we need a north arrow. We may need to, we go to our design center for that. I always forget where the design center is. So I'm just going to type in design center. Whoops. Oh. When in doubt, hit the question mark. I could go out and find one, but it should be online. And we can do it up here. Typing up at the top of the screen. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all that stuff. We'll just, we'll make a north arrow and we'll save it as a, if I go to, it's always good to steal when you can. So let's just do a quick trip to the internet. And usually there's a ton of north arrows available, so hopefully this computer will speed up here in a second. Because it's not a big file. There we go. I'm just going to type in, whoops, can't spell arrow. And we'll try this one. This looks free. Oh, let's see, CoNet. Let's see. I'm going to find a good one here. This one looks kind of like, says it's free. We'll see if it really is. Now, I don't want to get a bunch of other stuff, so I'm just going to say start the download. See what, yeah, don't go there. Says it's right there. You gotta be careful what you get. Says it's free. There it is right there. English system, drawing units unknown. Let's grab that one. That seemed to work. We'll go ahead and just double click. You can see it downloaded there. Just be careful when you go onto these sites that you don't get hooked into something that's not what it's supposed to be. So there's my north arrow. I'm just going to select the whole thing, do a Control C, close this out, and yeah, I don't want to save it. Famous last words, right? And do a Control V to paste that right there. And look how small it is. So we'll just select it we're going to scale it up by a factor of 12. It's probably still not big enough. And we'll scale it again. Getting there, I think one more time. This time I'll scale it by a factor of 4. That's pretty good. So we'll bring that over here. I'm just going to move it over to this location. If we look at the textbook, we can see that that north arrow is rotated at approximately, I don't think they give it to us in the book, let's see, angle 45 degrees. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to rotate it using this as my base point and just going to type in negative 45. So it's negative 45, and that places it. Now, let's put this in its own layer. So we go to Layer Properties, right-click, New Layer. You ought to be getting used to this now. North arrow. I'll give it a nice funky color. A little lime green for the earth. Make it active. Don't really need to make it active. And then just select it. Come up here, and we'll put it in the north arrow level. It didn't change all the colors because they're locked into a cell, but that's okay. It changed all the stuff that we needed to. So we got a cool little north arrow there. And that might prove to be too big once we blow this area up, but we'll keep it there for now. So the next thing we're going to do is a property line. So we're going to come in here and we're going to create a property line layer. So go to Layer Properties, right-click, New Layer. It's Property Line, and we'll change the color of that to something. I'll go with this green color. I picked a light color so they'll show up on the screen. And we'll make that active. Close it out. We're going to zoom in here. And it says create the property line, set the line type to phantom. So we're going to need to go back in here and set our line type to phantom. I don't have a phantom here, so I'm going to load, and we're going to go down and find the phantom line. There's phantom. We'll say OK. And OK, so we change this now to phantom. And it says set the line weight to 0.7. That seems kind of heavy. We already changed the color. I'll try 0.5. Even that might be too heavy, but we'll try it for now. It could mean 0.07. We'll close it out. We can always change it. So now we're working in the phantom line. And draw the property's boundary as a closed traverse or trace over the block 16 of lots and blocks. Make sure the line type is clearly visible. If necessary, set the line type scale. So now we're just going to take our polyline and we're going to start here and just trace over lot 16. Just like that. It wants us to add the dimensions like we did previously. So to do that, we want to turn off a lot of this other stuff. So we're going to turn off our lot labels and our lots and our lot dimensions, and our north arrow we'll leave on. Outline dimensions. Practice is something I was doing before, so we don't need that. I think everything else, we probably don't need the roads or the title block. So we're just left with this piece. Now let's create a layer for our property line dimensions. So we'll just right click, new layer, and we'll say property line dim. And I'll go to this yellow color, and I'm going to make this a much thinner line weight, like 0.18. And we've already set our drawing units. We changed the color. We made it our current layer by just double clicking on it. And then we're going to show the dimensions for the traverse. So we're going to actually put our dimensions on here. We can use this smart dimensioning tool. And if I just click on here, it's just going to place our dimensions. Remember how we did this just above the line? 237. This one should be 73. So you have to get away from the side piece a little bit. And 50. 100. Across the front should be 187. Just like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn off our property line. Select, oops, it escaped. Get out of my dimensioning. Just select those like we did before. Right click, go to properties. And we're going to turn off our dimension lines, both sides. Oops. And we're going to pull this down. Extension lines off. And I think there was a place for, that's alternate units, tolerances, dimension suffix stay there. Maybe that's all we needed to take out. We'll find out when yeah, we still get those little dots, but that's okay. And we'll turn this property line back on. And we can zoom in now. And what we're going to do is place our north arrows on here. So they're at 45 degrees. I wonder, and these north arrows set to 45. I want to see how. If you're going by the book, I'm just, we're going to set the angle on these things and the elevation. And I don't really think we need those north arrows on there or the angles. What we're going to do now is create our setbacks. And we're going to place some elevations on here also, I think, at some point. And just reading through this. Oh, that's just for direction of slope. So we're going to place our elevations at the points. And we should probably place points indicating what the property corners are. So I'm going to get away from the book here a little bit, and we'll just so it matches up what's in the book, we'll put our a layer called property call them pins. And we'll go give those a nice yellow color. And that should be why I want those to be continuous lines, as I want the dimension should be continuous too. So we'll make property pins active. And we're going to go to our utilities and set our point style up. We're going to use this one. We're going to set the size of this to probably 10 to start with, 10 feet. Absolute units, and say OK. And now we should be able to insert a point for annotate. No, it isn't. I'll just type out point. So 10's a little small. Well, watch what happens if I go around. Turn off my. That's all set. I must have hit the point. There we go. So we're just going to hit each corner. Guess I got to hit the right mouse button after each one. And now watch what happens when I go to my point style again. And I'm going to change that from 10 to, let's say, 30. And now my point styles, well, they got a little bigger, didn't they? Oh, 2'6". That's going in inches. So let's try 10 feet. No, still doesn't like inches. So 10 feet would be 120 inches. Point style 120. All right, that's better. So there's our property points. And maybe 120 is a little big, so we'll just come back in here and change it to maybe about half that size. We'll say 60. That's better. So now we have our property stakes on the screen. The next thing we're going to do is put our setbacks in. Communities have local ordinances in certain zoned areas that say a building has to be setbacks a certain distance. If you look on page 609, we see that the setbacks are going to be laid out with a dash dot line, 0.5, and it's 20 feet from the front. Rear setbacks are 10 feet, and I think the sides would also be 20 feet the way they're laying this out. So we're going to set up a layer for setback. New layer, setback. And I know it seems like it's a problem creating all of these layers, but when you have to do changes on these later on, you really appreciate the fact that you've done that. And so this is going to be a dash dot. We don't have one, so we're going to load up the dash dot line. There it is. And dash dot is what we want. They want the scale of that to be, or the line weight to be 0.5, which again seems a little heavy. I'll go 0.25. And the setback is 20 feet on the front, so we're just going to do this. If you look at the drawing on page 610, you'll see that anything that borders along the road is going to have a 20-foot setback, and then on the back is 10 feet. So we'll make that active, close this up, and I'm just going to start drawing inside here. So I'm going to go over 20 feet, and I'm just going to start drawing a line straight up, and I'll stop it short. And it's going to be 20 feet off this side also, so just right click, start it again, let it settle, go up 20 feet, and we're going to pull that one sideways to the right. I shouldn't say sideways, horizontally to the right. Right click. This one is also going to be 20 feet, so just let it settle, and then we're going to draw this in. And the last one that's 20 feet is actually from the same point. Let it settle, go up 20 feet, and we'll just bring that across. Then we're going to go 10 feet down from the top, so we're going to go, let it settle, down 10 feet, and bring that across here. Right click, let it settle, 10 feet, and bring it straight down and just let it cross up. So there's our setbacks. Now we'll just trim this off, so type TR, enter, enter again, and we're just going to trim off these endpoints. To create our border. So the city would look at this map and determine that we have our setbacks all laid out on the screen. We can put our dimensions on here. So we'll create a layer called setback dimensions. I want to make sure that's a continuous line. I'll put it at 0.18. Make it active. Now I'm going to go to my annotation, go to my subdivision dimensions, and I'm going to manage my dimension style. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it Subdivision Small. Continue. All I want to do here is just make the text a little bit smaller, maybe like 5 feet. And symbols and arrows, will make those 5 feet also. And just say OK. Set current and close. So now when I do a dimension from this point to this point, it's going to show me 20 feet. And if you want this to stick out, you can just grab the text and pull it outside. We'll do the same thing here. Right click, we'll go center point. And I'll pull this down so I can select this and move the 20 outside. One right here. And we may need to move these around. Now we'll put our 10 footers in. And one up on the top. Okay. So depending on how this comes out, I may want to change this dimension. If you just select these dimensions around here, all I want to do is just change these to the subdivision. So if you just come up here or right click and go to properties, I think we can select the dimension style rather than subdivision, just change it to subdivision small. You may have to go in and turn off these lines like you did before. Not a big deal. It's just that they get kind of big, so it's better to take them out of there. There we go. Much better. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a road into, actually we're going to turn our roads on. So let's go up to our layer properties. There's our road center line, our road labels, and our roads. So that's all set. Adjacent properties. I don't think we need anything there. So now we're going to put the building on here. The building is set. If you look on page, and I'm kind of skipping over some things that we don't really need. We're going to put the building on, then we're going to put a driveway in. So we're going to put the building footprint on. We're going to come over here. Yeah, this is definitely too big. Don't mean to jump around, but that's bothering me, so I'm going to scale it by 0.5. There we go. Because this is going to show up much bigger on the plan. We'll just move it over here. Okay, we're going to go find our house now. There it is. And we're going to move that into place. And I'm just going to place it on here just temporarily for now. So we know it's 23 feet off this back property line. So if I just select this whole thing, do a move. I guess it didn't select. There we go. Find this point and just come over here, and I'll let it find that point right there. Now what I want to do is move it off from there 23 feet. So find this point, bring it over, type in 23 feet. So that's positioned properly there. It's going to be 70 feet from the setback here to this point. So what I can do is I'm just going to draw a line 70 feet, almost there, and we'll just select this. Now when we move this, we want to be careful that we're moving it straight down, and then we can delete this line. So now that's in the right position. We're going to create, we've already got it hatched. We're going to put some building dimensions on here now, so let's create a layer for building dimensions. I should call it house dimensions, because that's what I called it for the house outline. Yeah, we'll use something a little different here. I'll use this fuchsia color. So we want a linear dimension from this point to this point. I'm still in the setback, so we want to go to house dimensions. My bad again. So there's 70 feet. Right click, we're going to go from this point to the property line, 23 feet. And I want to select that and pull that 23 out. And then we've got the overall building dimensions, overall meaning end to end. So what the outermost points of the building are going to be. This should be 89 feet. Of course, mine's 85, so they got some additional stuff on their drawing. And the overall length they have is 66. Mine's 62, so they use a little bit bigger footprint. And it probably, you know what it is? It's the roof overhang. So if we want to fix that, we can say, so the roof overhang actually makes up. So the roof overhang, let's say it overhangs 1 foot. If we take our offset tool and just grab this line, hopefully I can just grab that one. No. There we go, offset. And hit enter for through. There we go. We'll just bring it out 1 foot. And then select it. Whoops. Hit escape twice. Select it, and we're going to change the line style on this to a hidden line. And now what we want to do is move our building it doesn't want to. So it lines up with these dimension lines. There's that one. And we'll move this one 1 foot. No, I did move it before. There we go. Now it's got the roof overhang on it. So it's going to increase the size of our building a little bit, but they do look at roof overhangs as part of the overall building size. All thumbs tonight. Okay. So now, the last thing we're going to do before we actually get ready to plot this is put the driveway on. So the driveway is the center line of the driveway. If you look on page, well, actually we'll set up the levels first. So go to Layer Properties. We'll create a new layer, and we'll call it Driveway. Yep. Make it active, and we'll change the color to this blue. So we know that the driveway is going to have, it says draw the driveway as follows. Draw 2 lines as shown as figure 1810A, which is on page 614. So we're just going to start with the center line of the driveway. I don't know why they go through such a rigmarole here, but we'll just do it the way we see fit. So from the overhang, it's over 15 feet, 9.5 inches. So I'm just going to start my polyline right here at this point, let it settle, and I'm going to go over 15 feet, oops, foot mark, 9 space, no. I always forget how to do that because, let's try it again. So let it settle. So it's 15 feet, 9 hyphen 1/2 inch. 9 feet, or 15 feet, 9 1/2 inches. Hit enter. And it doesn't want to go. Feet, 9 hyphen 1/2 inch. There it is. Okay. And that comes over, is that a 45? Trying to figure out what the offset is on that. So they don't give us the angle. Well, I'm just going to come over here at a, I'm going to guess that's a 45. So just key in 45, and I'll just bring it over, hit enter. Down here at the bottom, our driveway is going to come over from the bottom 31 feet 6 inches from the outside property line. So line command, start right here, going over 31 feet 6 inches right there, and we'll just pull that straight up. Of course my 70-foot mark's right in the middle. Let's bring it up until it, I just want to make sure it's going up straight. So how did I get that dimension so close? I want to cross them. I'll bring it over here. Okay. So I'm thinking this line, I'm just going to grab it and pull it down about 20 degrees. That's just too sharp an angle. So from 45, I went another 20 degrees, so it's going to be 65 degrees. Now we need to trim these. We've got a fillet tool, so we can fillet, meaning give it a round edge. First object to fillet, and I'm going to put the radius on here first. R is going to be 20 feet. First object, second object. Simple as that. That gives us a 20-foot radius. Now I want to join these lines together because I drew them as segments. So if I just select this line, I guess it made them all together. I'm just going to type in join to be safe. And now we're going to do a offset. So this driveway is, total width is 8 feet on both sides. So it's going to be a total of 16 feet wide. So we go to our offset tool right here, hit enter for through, left click here, I'm going to pull it over 8 feet, and here I'm going to pull it over 8 feet. Now we got to trim it back, so we're going to come up here, type TR, enter, enter again. Now this one, my computer's being slow, so bear with me. There we go. So you may have to trim it through the hatching for that one, and then remember, hold down your shift key and you can hide it, haul it right up inside on the other side. Now that we have our driveway, we can take our center line off. So I'm just going to hit my escape key to get out of trim. I'm going to take this line out, and we're going to hatch this now. So to do that, I want to get these dimensions kind of out of the way. So I am going to move some things around. That 20-foot dimension, I'm going to delete. I'm going to grab this one, pull it over here. Should do it. Just kind of cleaning up this area so that we can hatch it properly. I'm going to turn off my setbacks. So this driveway is going to be hatched with a, they use a herringbone. Now it's a walkway they got around there. So hatch is going to be, yep, H-bone on page 614. So let's create a layer called, new layer. It's going to be driveway hatch. And we'll give it a different color. Click our hatching tool. Give my computer a minute. And we want herringbone, so this is alphabetical. Or H-bone, they call it. It's actually probably below this. No. I do not have a herringbone. Got a parquet. Oh, AR H-bone. There. Sorry about that. AR H-bone right there. Must be architectural H-bone. They want the scale of this to be 10. And angle 0, which it is. There's our herringbone pattern. And we'll just left click. Of course, I'm not sure. No, I wasn't. Make sure I'm in the driveway hatch, and then we'll do it again. Should be the same. There we go. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is a little walkway. And this walkway is coming off the side of the house. So let's create a layer. New layer. I'm going to call it walkway. And while we're in here, we'll create another new layer. And we're going to call it walkway hatch. Okay, walkway is going to be my active layer. I'm going to come back up here. I'm just going to take my polyline, and the dimensions are from the outside of the house itself, 14 foot 6 over. Of course, they show a little porch on there. So we're just going to kind of draw this from this area. We're going over a distance of 14 foot 6 inches. Whoops. Oops. Inch. 14.5 feet. How's that? Come straight down. And we're going to come down a distance of, they got a porch shown on this one. So we're going down a distance of 24 feet. And we're going over until it intersects with the driveway. We're going to put a fillet on here of 10 feet. So just type in R for radius. I'm going to type in 10 feet. I'm going to select this line and this line. Now this one does look like I need to join it. So I'm going to select all three pieces. And we're going to type in join. And then we're going to do an offset. Offset on the drive is, the walkway is going to be 3 feet on both sides. So it'll be a 6 foot wide offset. Hit enter for through. So we're going to go 3 feet. And then we're going to go in this distance, 3 feet. And then we'll do a trim. Hit escape and then TR, enter. Enter again. Shift extend and trim. And I want to bring this up to the house. That one's actually good right there. So now we can take out the inner line. And we're going to hatch this with same herringbone, but we'll do it in the walkway hatch level. So walkway hatching. Go to our hatch, still 10. Just to be funky with this, let's change our scale on this one to 5. So it gets smaller. Smaller pavers there for that driveway. All right, so now let's just straighten out some stuff here. I'm gonna finish putting this dimension on for the setback on this side. And I need to move some things around. As soon as I get to the right setback dimensions. Oh, that's the center of my road. Here it is. What am I looking at? This point, help if I turn the setback back on. Right there. I'll blame that for confusing me. How's that sound? We can leave that one on the inside because it's not interfering. Some of these other things, if I just hit escape, I want to just kind of move some of these things in a little closer so they're not laying on top of lines. So I'm selecting each one individually and just moving it in closer, taking some time to just adjust this, making sure as much stuff as I can is not overlapping. So I hit escape after each one just so I don't accidentally move something I shouldn't. Not that I wouldn't, but. And this one needs to go up here. So they want to put a swimming pool. We're not going to bother with that, but we will put some labels on here now. This one's going to be a property line label. So we'll see what we have for our settings. I'm going to go ahead and put it on here anyway with our leader. So I'm going to specify the point, bring it up here. I'm going to type in all caps. That's pretty small, so we'll just right click and go to properties. And our arrowhead size is big enough, but our text is not. So text 8 inches. We probably want that as 2 feet. Let's try 4 feet. There we go. And we can grab these. See how that's setting right on the property, or right on the dimension line, so we move that around. Now the other one, we're going to put a note here. So if I just take this, do a Control C and a Control V, then I can bring this over here and point it at the walkway, grab this, grab the handle, and bring the text down. So rather than recreating it, now I can just retype this and type in, delete this out. There we go, backspace. I'll type in walkway, and I'll do a Control V, and we're going to put our driveway. We'll just, whoops, bring that down. All right, so now we'll turn some layers back on. Before we do that, let's go back to our, really, do I want to do this? We'll do it on a letter size. So you can see now, ooh, that's not good, doesn't have my stuff in there. Well, let's right click. I'm going to bring it in for my template. We'll do it on our 11 by 17. Hopefully it shows up. Oh, I know why, because I have the level turned off. So let's go back in, turn our levels back on. Title block, there it is. And go to paper so I can zoom out, and then we'll go in here, double click on this. So there's our lot. This is all I want to see is right here. So I may want to show the map overall. But I want to just increase the size of this. We had it, let's see, 1 inch equals 20 feet. Maybe too big. So let's try 1 inch equals 30 feet. So to do that, we'll create a new level, custom. No, I said custom. There we go. Add 1 inch equals 30 feet. We'll just put 30 feet right here. Okay. That should be just the right size. And we'll bring that up here. So you see we got some stuff overlapping that we've got to move out of the way. So let's go back to our model for a second here. And I want to take my number 12 and this piece and move it down. And I'm going to take my number 16, if I can get a hold of it, right. Almost had it. There we go. And the circle, and we'll move that up. It's a little big, but that's okay. Come back here to our title block. So now we can see where things are located. I'm going to kind of slide this over a little bit, and you'll see why in a second. Just like that. And I'm going to bring in, actually going to create another viewport right over the top of this one. And we'll make it very big. And I want to just, I have to go back into my paper mode here and just move this over. Just like that. If I select, I'm going to delete, I had some lines on here that just keep interfering. So if I grab this one now, right click and say add a vertex, I'm going to block this out. Whoops. My lines are a little crooked here, so make sure I just get them. And that works. So now on my paper view up here, I may want to say that's 1 inch equals 150. So let's say 1 inch equals 300. Make it twice as small. Custom. We'll add 1 inch equals, we'll say 250. That should fit. And we'll go 250 feet. Hit OK. Hit OK again. Should have gone 300. I thought I could squeeze it in. So on a lot of civil maps, you'll see a smaller map inset. That's better. So now we can see a smaller property map. And what we're going to do is place some text on here now. Go to our title block level. And we're going to type in just some single line text. What the heck is that? All right. We'll call it lot 16 property. And we'll make that a lot smaller. We'll say 10 feet. Looks good. And then we'll do a Control C and Control V. We'll bring this up here. Rename this. Subdivision map. I guess. I want to change that to the title block layer so it turns black on the border. And now we're going to put the scale on here because each one is a different scale. So I'm just going to grab my text. This is going to be scale, all caps maybe, 1 inch equals 300 feet. Well, I know you're getting exasperated with me. Spring break's on its way. Equals 300 feet. There. I don't know why it keeps disappearing on me. Nope. One more time. I'll put it out here. Equals 300 feet. And I'm going to put scale 1 inch equals, forget what we did on that one. I'm going to put 50 feet for now because I forgot. Maybe it's because I'm in the paper mode. It's probably writing it on the paper in the background. Do you think? That's why it was so small that time too. Yep. Inch equals 300 feet. At least it didn't. So that one, height will be 2 feet. Perfect. Lost my scale. It was 30 feet. Get things lined back up. Problem is with these separate windows, you have to write in each one separately. So it's a pain. That one's good. Don't touch it. I have to, oh, get out of there. Don't ask me what I just did. Control Z to the rescue. Now I have to select, you have to go back into paper and then go in this mode. And now I should be able to type in there. The text. Back in the model mode. No, I just can't do it in the paper side. All my layers are on. Hold your breath. 1 inch equals 300 feet. Disappeared because I was in paper. Back to my model for a second. Make sure I'm not putting text all the way out there. One way to skin a cat, I guess. I'm just going to take that, change it to scale. 1 inch equals 300 feet. Properties. Let's go 20 feet tall. There we go. That should be readable. Perfect. Sorry about that. Put my scale back in. 1 inch equals 300. Go back to paper. So now we'll set our line weights. I think on this one I need to make sure I grab this port. There, click inside it. I was just trying to get at that. And just lining stuff up. So in this port, I'm going to go up here to my layer properties. I'm going to slide it all the way down. I'm going to select this layer, hold down my shift key all the way to this layer. And I'm going to change those all to black, just like that. Now my hatching, the ones that say hatch on them, I want to change those to gray. Whoops. Can't select. You got to make sure you unselect here first. Now I can go to hatch and hatch. I'm just holding down my control key, and then I can select this one and say I want that just to be a light gray color. Say OK. So you see, oh, my property lines. What level are those in? Are my notes. Setback dimensions. Let's just select them. Right click, go to properties. I'm going to tell it I want it in title block. By layer. And see if I'm missing anything. Shouldn't be. I'm going to go back to my model and just fix that text real quick. It looks like it's right. Content, magenta, by layer. OK, close. There we go. Now we got those right. Now you notice that the other division is just going to, if I double click in that, it puts me right into the model mode for that one. Now we have to go in and set the layer properties for this one. And again, we're going to go all the way top, hold down the shift key, the bottom. We'll just select our color as black. And I'm going to select my line weight here as all 0.05. 0.09. So everything's going to get really thin. And everything else should be okay. Click outside. Close this. Go back to my paper mode. I want to zoom in. You can see those line weights are nice and thin now for the most part. These line weights are going to be a little thicker. Now last thing, double click on our project. This one is going to be called Site Plan Lot 16. Change the date. The scale is going to be as noted, because we've got two different scales on this drawing because we have two different viewports. Hit apply and OK. So we're looking at this. Everything seems pretty good. My line styles didn't come out. So let's go back to our model. Remember how this happened to us before. This should be like this. And actually it should be okay because it's a line on top of a line. But let's just type in LTS scale. That's at 400. So that's, I'm going to try 200. That's better. And we're going to do a PSLT scale. Make sure that's set to 0. Now we can see our boundary lines are showing up more correctly. Everything looks good. See a problem. Go to my model. Actually, I want to go to my paper side. Click this. So why was that? I was seeing a circle in behind there, but it's not there now. So I guess we're okay. We'll right click on this and say plot. Use our Adobe DWG to PDF3. Hit our preview screen and we're going to hit plot. I'm going to put this in our homework file under PDFs. We're going to call it Lot 16 Site Plan and hit save. And there we have it. You see the lines come up much nicer on this screen. So if we actually zoom in on it, looks much better. Okay. The only thing I would have done differently is maybe lined this up a little better on the top. So if you're sick of listening to me, you can go there and do that. If I go back to paper, and I just want to click in here. I just want to resize that. I can just pull this up by this handle. Hit escape. If I want to resize my viewports, I have to do it in the paper side. I'll just right click, do a plot. DWG to PDF. Hit the preview again. That looks better. Hit the printer. And now I'll just Lot 16 site plan. I'm just going to overwrite that. There it is. Much better lined up on the top. File. Exit. And then you'll be able to upload that right into your drawing. So that is enough for me tonight, and hopefully you can get through that. It's kind of scattered throughout the book from chapter 18, but just do the building outline. Everything else is in chapter 18. Don't worry about the swimming pool, and I skipped over some things that aren't really necessary here to finish this one up. So that'll be due before you go on break next week. All right, thanks.